Hey there, welcome to the Kwabena Dapaah podcast, where I'll be sharing insights on surviving the various phases of life as a youth living in Ghana. I am Kwabena Nyameche Dapaah, your host. Hey guys, thank you for joining the Kwabena Dapaah podcast. Today we'll be having a conversation about questions you need to ask yourself early in your career or when you're transitioning between jobs. But before we dive deep, guys, join the Kwabena Dapaah podcast family. Subscribe, click the subscribe button, and hit the bell so that you don't miss out on any of our educational content. I'd like to connect with you too, so drop a comment. Let me know where you're listening from. Let me know who you are. And let me know if you have any questions on what I'm going to share today. It's going to help me to provide better content in order to serve your needs in transitioning from one stage of your life to another. Now, with that out of the way, let's dive deep. Questions you need to ask yourself early in your career or when you're transitioning between jobs. I have been working since 2013. That's internship to my national service, started things since 2013. So I started working as a sales agent in a microcredit firm. And then I did my national service at the Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority. And then I started my career in marketing, the hospitality industry, went to the education industry. Then I'm now with a fintech. And I have seen a couple of things. I've gained certain insights. And I want to share with you with these 10 questions interspersed with some statements to help you to grow in your career. So let's go. Question number 1. Is your passion scalable? Right? Throughout my career, I've had interesting things I've been passionate about at every level. I don't know for you guys, but I've had, just thinking of it, I've had interesting things I've been passionate about. I've been passionate about photography, videography, writing, books. I've been passionate about a lot of things. I don't know for you guys if you have just been passionate about one thing, but I have been passionate about a lot of things. But most importantly, you need to ask yourself what you're passionate about. Is it scalable? Can it be able to take care of your needs today and take care of your needs in the future? That's very important. You need to ask yourself that question so that you do not just jump into following your passion and become frustrated along the line. Because sometimes some things that you're passionate about cannot be able to take care of your needs now or your needs in the future in the environment where you find yourself. So you probably need to have other things, okay, that will cushion you, right? So you ask yourself and give yourself an honest answer. What am I passionate about? And is what I'm passionate about scalable? Number 2, where are you in your career? Okay. So there are 3 things that I like to borrow from Dave Orridge, who says that there are 3 levels in your career progression. You are the level where you learn how to do things. That's technical or tactical level. The level where you learn how to manage people. That's like managerial. Then the level where you learn how to manage system. That's like executive roles. Now, at the level where you learn how to do things, technical or tactical, you need to gain tactical and technical skills, right? Aside that, you need to gain relevant certifications that will help you to progress in the environment you find yourself. In Ghana, you need a first degree if you want to go towards that trajectory of getting onto the executive level. Normally. Maybe there are some exceptions, but let's deal with the normal things. Normally, you need to get a first degree, right? You get a first degree, then you also need to get international or professional certifications. Now, I'm going to be a little bit biased about the international certifications because we are living in a global village and you need certifications that help make you globally mobile, internationally mobile. So look at the international certifications, which are a bit pricey. So you can start with the local certifications and get the international certification. So for a marketer, you have like CIM, Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, and Chartered Institute of Marketing UK. Look at getting that. At the managerial level, where you learn how to manage people. When you become a manager, you do not become a more or less a technical manager because you're managing a team. So you must be good at managing people. So you look at getting an MBA. So I mentioned some of these things because these are things that I probably noticed that are going to help you in going to the top. Okay. So you look at getting an MBA. Look at getting certificates and certifications in managing people. Attend seminars to learn how to manage people. Okay, get people to get things done. Very important at the managerial level. Then at the executive level, right, you learn how to manage the system. So for me, at the executive level, I think after I've gained all these certifications and certificates or degrees, okay, or probably a doctorate at that level, you must also create relationships, strategic relationships that will make you relevant in the space, in your industry. Know the movers and shakers in your industry so that you can also move the politics in your favor for your business. Okay, so create relationships, very important. Movers and shakers in your field and related areas so that you have information so that you can be able to place your business in a position to make it profitable. So these are the 3 stages in your career. Know them, gain the relevant skills and information so that you can be useful at each of these 3 levels. Let me know where you are on this ladder. Are you at the level that you're learning how to do things, level that you're managing people, or at the executive suite? At each of these levels, let me know what has been the most relevant skill that has helped you. So let me know in the comment section. Let's get interactive. Guys, you need to know who your stakeholders are. Stakeholders are not only for business. Today, we're talking about career. You need to know your stakeholders in your career. Stakeholders are people who are directly or indirectly involved with you or involved with your career. Now, I want to borrow from Mendelow's stakeholder metrics. Now, Mendelow's stakeholder metrics looks at stakeholders based on interest and power. So for what you're talking about, career, we're going to look at people based on power, people based on interest. Power are people who have the ability to influence you. Interest are people who are, I nearly say interested in you, but people who admire you, people who like you, okay? People who like your personality, people who like your career, people who like how you are going, right? So we have those 2. So Mendelow's put stakeholders in 4 quadrants, okay? So the first quadrant says people who have high power, high interest. Second quadrant looks at people who have high power, low interest. Third quadrant looks at people who have low power, high interest. And the fourth quadrant looks at people who have low power, low interest. Now, people who have high power, high interest, you need to manage them closely. These are people who can mention you for promotion and those who like you. You get it. Mention you for promotion and they like you. Manage them closely. Okay? One of the points I'll talk about how to keep these relationships useful, right? How to keep the iron hot on these kind of relationships. So stay tuned. Then you go to the people who have high power, low interest. These people, you need to keep them satisfied. Okay? You have to keep these people satisfied. Who are some of these people? They have high power but low interest. So this in your firm, it can be like if you are working in a marketing space, it can be like maybe the procurement manager. Okay. If you are not in a managerial level, let's say like you are, let's say entry level, let's say entry level. These people, you need to keep them satisfied by, they don't really know you directly or interested in you, but they have high power. So you need to keep them satisfied. Whatever that they need, you need to provide to them. If you're at the managerial level, you should know the people who have high power, low interest on your career. keep them informed. Okay. I mean, keep them satisfied. Whatever that they need, you provide for them. Then we have the people who have low power but high interest. These people, you need to keep them informed. These people just are people who probably like you, want to support your career, want to help you. These people, you need to keep them informed. Okay. So they don't have too much power. They don't have power, okay, on your career or your growth and everything. But they are interested in you. They like you. So keep them informed. Let them know what you are doing, what you are up to in your career, and if they have any advice, they can offer you. Then we have people who are low power, low interest. These people are like low priority. Okay. So you should know the people who have low power, low interest so that you don't give them too much attention because you have very little time, very little energy to work around with. So you should know where you should put your most energy to have the most results. Okay. So go ahead and categorize your stakeholders in these four quadrants. So stakeholders can be your mentors, your coach, your manager, your supervisor, your colleagues, your HR, your customer, professional networks and associations, your role models. So go to work, put them in any of these quadrants and start working on them. Now, the next question is, where do you want to be at the end of your career? Where do you want to be? In other words, you should have the end in mind when you begin your career. You should have the end in mind when you begin your career so that you are able to prioritize and you're able to know the low hanging fruits and you're able to achieve them. I believe that when you're able to gain certain skills, certifications early in your career, it boosts your confidence. Okay. When you're able to get certain recognitions, it boosts your confidence early in your career, increases your bargaining power. And I've noticed one thing that when you sit at a table and you are bargaining, especially for your salary, you need some level of confidence because I've noticed that those sitting at the other end, sometimes there's a structure for payments, but they always want to cut down costs. So if you're not confident enough to push what you want by believing in yourself, you might lose out. So, no, if you want to be a marketing, let's say a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, you need to start getting your international certifications, local certifications, creating networks, doing your MBAs, doing your masters. Start getting these things early in your career. If you're able to get them early in your career, you become very confident about your skills and you're able to increase your bargaining power. It is power, and power comes with confidence. Okay. Now, know your industry. Which industry are you in? How do you know your industry? Do you know your industry? Okay, let's cut the chase. Know your industry by knowing the history of your industry, where your industry is, and where your industry is going to be. History helps you to appreciate where your industry is now. Okay, you know how your industry has evolved. And it's going to help you to also appreciate now and make progressions for the future. Just that this just came to mind. Like, it makes so much sense now to me that even when we're doing certain courses like economics, you learn the history of economics, like the Adam Smiths and all those people, and you now come to learn what the contemporary people are saying, and it can help you to even know what is going to happen in the future. Okay, so you should know where your industry is coming from, where your industry is, and where your industry is going. Why? Because it's going to help you to gain the relevant skills to become useful in your space. Okay? So if you know what your industry needs, today, almost every industry is in technology. So where do you place in the tech that is being used in the industry? Those speaking out against the tech, the AI, and all these things, I'm very worried for you because it's not going anywhere. It's just going to become thicker and thicker. So you better learn how to use it so that you are not behind the curve. So know the current needs of your industry. Get those ones, use them, and make progressions for the future, and start gaining the skills that will help you for the future, so that you are not left behind the curve, which is very, very important. Now, tell your brand story. Guys, you are a brand, right? You listening to me today, you are a brand. A brand is just basically how people feel about you. And I'm sure you have heard this like a zillion times that people buy based on emotions and feelings. Okay, people will buy a certain brand because certain people are buying from that brand. Not necessarily because it's like a superior brand or it has like its quality, right? It's because of the people who are buying it. That's why you see people using celebrities and all those things to market their brand. So if this celebrity is using this, then I want to get it. Okay, and it talks about branding. Begin to brand yourself. Begin to brand yourself. Begin to tell your own story. Okay. Today I have been very personal about telling my own story. If you go to my LinkedIn, I write what I want people to know about me. If you type my name today on Google, you see my website, you see my LinkedIn, because I have been very intentional about writing about myself. And I know anytime I go for a job, people are going to check my social media handles. And it's going to give them a perception about me. And when I come to sit there, they're going to ask me questions, probably also based on what they have seen about me, because I'm telling my brand story. What are you doing, guys? Begin to tell your brand story, okay? By writing about your achievements, even your weaknesses on social media. But this is what it comes with. When you talk about your weakness, talk about how you have overcome them. Okay. People like to know that. And people want to know how you are doing. And when you talk about your weaknesses, really, it makes people to connect with you. If you're always talking about your success, it's like you're not human. You don't have challenges. But if you talk about your weakness, how you overcame them, people connect with you and people are also able to learn from you. Okay. So begin to tell your brand story. Use social media, right? Guys, use social media to your benefit. When you know where you want to be, start telling the story leading to where you want to be so that people can connect with your brand. Okay. Perception is very important. Guide the perception people have about you by writing about your story, telling about your brand. Be truthful, be strategic on social media, and it's going to really help you to grow your career. All right, so to the next one. This is a very interesting one. Okay, let's go. No one hates you. People just have different interests. No one hates you. People just have different interests in the corporate space. I've come to notice that in the corporate space or when you're working with people, everybody has their own interests. People want to do their work in a certain style, in a certain way. But most importantly, as a professional, you must know how to give your professional take and not go into battlefield or battle mode. Some of us are like always in battle mode in the corporate space when you're working with people, like telling my opinion has to be taken. It's either mine or the highway. Like I'll not go agree for anybody. No, that's not the right way to work with people. You always be fighting with people. You always have problems if you do that. So my take for you is have this in mind that people have different interests, and at some point our interests might converge, it might be divergent. But if our interests affect your personal values, you need to look at it and take a very good decision. Do you understand that? So you must have values. We know companies have values, but you as a human being in your career, do you have values? Do you have values for your career? Do you have values for your personality, who you are, what you want to do? You have values. You need to decide. You need to decide what your values are and take decisions based on your values. So no one hates you in the corporate space. People have different interests. I say people have different interests because people are have access to certain information that you might not have at a certain point, especially when you're working with your bosses. At a certain level that they set, they might see different things differently from how you see it. So make your professional submissions. Try to convince them if they are not seeing reason. But if they take their decision, support your boss and make sure that the decision, what they have taken, works. Okay, at the end of the day, people are going to promote you. Yes, technical skills is there, but people really promote the people who they like. So if you're always in battlefield with your boss, guess what? It'll be difficult for them to recommend you or to promote you because they might not like you. And if you notice that what the decisions that are being taken are very divergent from your values, then you have to take a second look about the industry, probably, or the firm. Probably you don't want to be there anymore. And it's okay. At some point, you might have to leave. And it makes, for me, that's fine. At some point, you must have to leave. If you realize that your values and the company's values are not the same, they are very divergent, you need to make a decision. Right. So if you're able to align, um, probably you're in the wrong place. So you have to make a decision. Now, build a database of your supporters. I spoke of when I was talking about when I was talking about stakeholders, right? We spoke about people who have high interest, high power, people who have high power, low interest. So those who have low power, high interest are, we can call them your supporters. These are people who want to make input into your career, input into your skills. Okay, these people are interested in you. Okay, they, you can term your supporters. Then your promoters, right? Your promoters are those who have high power, high interest, or they can even have high power, low interest. So these people are people who are at the top. Okay, they can mention your name for recognition, right? These are your promoters. So some of them just may know you, they may not be interested in you, but they have the power to make the decisions. So these people are your promoters. These people are, there are also people who have the high power and they also like you. They're also your promoters. So you need to manage these people closely. You need to manage them. How do you manage them? Create a database. Have their names, their emails, their telephone numbers, their birthdays, and certain milestones in their lives and things that you know about them, their likes and dislikes. Then you start managing them based on that. Send them a message on their birthdays, things that they like. One thing I learned, when somebody compliments you, this is just by the way, when somebody compliments you, compliment them back because people like to feel good, right? So do things for them to feel good. If you're a tech savvy person, um, make yourself available to manage their social media channels, right? You can do that for them. So keep all this information, keep it on the cloud so you can always have access to it and use it to manage your supporters and your promoters to create that database. Now, as long as it depends on you, leave when you're changing jobs, leave with little or no drama. I would say no drama, actually. Little or no drama. Guys, it's not important to fight with everybody before you leave a firm because this corporate space is very interconnected. If you start making enemies too early for yourself, I'm afraid you might not go too far because people talk, right? And nobody wants to employ a troublemaker. Do you get it? No matter how skilled you might think you are, you have substitutes, and nobody wants to employ a troublemaker. So, sorry. So make it a point to leave your place of work when want to leave or when you're about to leave with little or no drama. For me, no drama. Okay, it's not important to fight. Leave with no drama. Now, the last one, listen with a closed mouth. Listen with a closed mouth. It's good to have an opinion, but know that not everyone wants to hear it. It's good to have an opinion, trust me. You should have an opinion in everything, but not everybody wants to hear it. Know when people want to listen to your opinion and put it across strategically, put it across with a lot of wisdom. Okay? And when you notice people don't want to hear your opinion, sometimes you just have to keep it and listen. When people are talking to you, listen to close mouth, really. Some of us, when you are listening, like we always want to say something back, we want to respond. You don't always have to respond immediately, trust me. You don't always have to respond immediately. think about it, make informed decision, and when you speak, let it be full of information, like be informed before you make a submission. Don't be in a hurry to speak. I mean, there's that notion that those who speak a lot are those who are seen to be the ones working. It's there, right? But when you're always speaking a lot and you're churning out a lot of, I don't want to use the word, but if you're talking too much and what you're saying doesn't make sense a lot of the time, like anytime you speak, everybody will be like, there we go again. Okay? So listen with a closed mouth. Listen, analyze before you speak. It's very important in your career. Do that and you'll be fine. I have a bonus one before we call it a wrap. I have a bonus one. So anytime that I'm moving to a new job, I want to change my jobs, I've come to notice something that in a space where you're going to work, okay, look at the people who are working in that space. The likelihood of you, when you do so well, becoming like the most cherished person there is high. Or no, let me put it this way. Look at how people are in terms of their look, in terms of what they have. It tells you how people are compensated in the firm. Let me give you an example. So if you're going to enter a firm, there's something that I have thought of and I practice it sometime. Go to the company, check the people in the company, go to the car park, check the cars at the car park. How many branded cars do they have? And how many people are using their own cars? Okay. It gives you an idea of how people are compensated in the firm. Look at the people in the firm, how they dress, how they look. It gives you an idea of how people are compensated in the firm. If the firm has a lot of branded cars and people are not driving their personal cars, it should tell you something. If people have their personal cars and maybe little branded cars, it should tell you something. Decide for yourself. I'm not going to tell you, but decide for yourself. Now, this is going to help you to know how people are compensated in the firm. And it's going to help you to know how you are going to also look like when you are in the firm. And look at the longest serving people. How do they look? People who are working there, how do they look? It will tell you something about the firm. That's very important. Okay, guys, so we've come to the end of today's episode. I'm so grateful I got to do this with you. Let me know which of the 10 points really resonated with you in the comments section. And if you have not subscribed yet, if you're not a subscriber of the Kwabena Dapa podcast, I want you to click the subscribe button, hit the bell so that you do not miss out on any of the educational content that we have to be shared with you. You are the ones who keep this podcast going. Let me know your comments. Let me know your questions. It's going to help us to prepare even more engaging content for you. You're the ones who keep this going, guys. Thank you so much and see you on the next episode. It's bye for now.